So here we have Hobnobin General. He's my 16 3.5 hand 6-year-old gelding, and I've been calling him Hob. I think that just fits his personality so perfectly because he's just kind of a big goofball. Anyway, so this was his second ride out in the field. My wonderful husband Billy took him out here the day before in Western Tack and hacked him all around and did a little walk trot canter and let him see all the things and see the traffic going by. And he was perfect. He really couldn't have been better. So then today I had the easy job because I got to ride him for the second ride out in the field. So he already knew everything that was out there. So that definitely made my job a lot easier. So we just started with a little trot around. We were going to the left. I asked him to pick up the left lead. He picked up the right. No big deal. Really doesn't matter. So then we changed directions and we just got the right lead. And this horse just has such a lovely canter. I always feel like you can build the trot, but the canter pretty much is what it is. It's really hard to manipulate the canter. And luckily, his canter is definitely his premier gait. So my field is actually on a bit of an incline. For the eastern shore of Maryland, where it's very flat, it might pass as a hill. So this is the downhill part here. So it's always a little bit tough for them, when still in their very green stage of off the track of sort of figuring out the balance and how to sit down behind as they're coming down that hill. He did a pretty good job though. So then this was great. We were going to the right. I asked him to canter one more time, and he chose to pick up the left lead. Of course, not what I was going for, but I was really happy that he did because the left lead has been the harder one for him to get, and I've largely been getting it through a change. So actually, I was really happy that he decided that the left lead was what he should pick up. And then he did like a nice little roll back, change of direction. And now this is coming down the hill part of my field to the left, and he was so nice and balanced in his canter coming down that. I was thinking, okay, this is going really well. Oh, we have a little trip there. There's kind of some divots and stuff in the ground down there at the bottom of the hill. I think from like how the rain runs down the hill, it makes some crevices. Anyway, nonetheless, that does tend to be where they're going to trip if they're going to trip. Anyway, that was really good. I was really happy with that. He was super about the traffic going by. No concerns about loud trucks, sports cars speeding way past acceptable speeds, making all kinds of noise. He really couldn't care less about that. It is really hard when they're spooky at the traffic because, of course, it's nonstop. And then that gets me riding a little bit edgy because I'm always waiting for them to spook. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves about riding in the field is when they're bothered by the traffic. Not that I blame them because I think it's spooky too. But Hob really didn't care, so thank you, Hob. So he had a really nice warm up. I was quite pleased with that. So then this is his big introduction to jumping for the first time. He's not really done anything in the ring. And he's kind of a big horse, and I just thought it would be good for him to start by just going over some logs. So as I always do, I like to walk over things first. He was very good about that. And he was just chill. I mean, if you just look at his walk, he's got a good steady march. He doesn't look tense or upset or worried about anything. His ears are perked, looking where he's going. He just had a great attitude about it. So, two very calm times walking over the log without an overreaction. So then I thought we were ready to come around and give it a go in the trot. And he was great because he went, right? I mean, that's all we can really ask at this point. We're just asking them to try. So if they're willing to give it a go, then that's a win. So he jumped a little awkward the first couple of times. He's got to figure out his sea legs. But what I do like is that he's not over jumping it. So at this stage, when they are happy to go over the thing in a pretty straight manner, whatever it is, if they're not already landing in the canter, like he's still landing and sort of maybe he's half cantering for a stride, but then he's wanting to trot. I'm really just thinking about trying to encourage them to land in the canter. So right there, that was really good. And I gave him a pretty good squeeze off the ground to encourage that to happen. So there he landed. He gave me like one step in the canter and then he broke back to the trot. And that's okay. I mean, I'm never going to be upset about that. I'm just going to keep asking without trying to make him tense or worried because, of course, that's not what I want. I don't want to rush him off the ground, but I'm just gently asking every time for him to land and canter away. And sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't, but it does absolutely no good to overpick or sort of focus too much about this one thing. So then we came to this log up by the road. He hasn't seen this log yet. But he was very good. He sort of stopped. He wasn't sure. He needed a second. But then he really popped over pretty nicely from a standstill. So I thought that was great. And then he comes back around, and then that time he overjumped it. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's still not sure about this because I'm glad he went and he was very straight, but he overjumped it. So then we went back to the other log that I already know he's comfortable with, and he jumped that really nicely, landed in a great canter. So that was great. And then that was better, and we landed in a nice left lead canter. He didn't overjump it as much. Super good about cantering away from a jump with a car going by. So then I thought we'd introduce one more new log. And we did walk over it first, but he sort of got his hind legs tripped up and sort of tripped over it. It wasn't his most graceful moment. But so that was the first time we came in the trot, and he was really good about it. Then we came one more time, and then this time he landed on his right lead and cantered away. So that was very good. Yeah, I snuck in a canter over that little log because he just had a great canter going. So I thought, I just think we can keep rolling with this. And that was really good. So now, now he's jumped a dozen or so logs. So he really is understanding that you want to land and canter away. And he does a great job of always landing in a sort of balanced rhythmic canter. Even if he lands in a bit of a heap, that was great. He still has a nice balance to his canter. And so that was super. He jumped that